What's going on, YouTube? Ledger here once again. This time at you again with some more Genshin Impact. And I want to make this video. Now, I know what you're thinking right here. Like, oh, you see the tier list and you're like, oh no, not another tier list. Oh, brother. This and that, blah, blah. You must be running out of content. No. I'm not running out of content. This is actually a whole elaborate scheme for me just to be like I told you so when it comes to some of these units. But there's some units that have made some improvements now that Dendro is out. And I figured the best way to really show how much value they have now is to basically show you a tier list of what I think units are before Dendro, and then show how the units that are affected by Dendro move up that tier list to kind of give you a visual aid to show you how much they've improved, right? If you don't agree with the tier list that I have, well, one, you're wrong, because I'm right. And my opinion is objective.
Well, why you pouring me? I'm right.
But for real, when it comes to tier lists, you gotta understand, these are personal opinions. If you are a veteran and you already have an idea of where units should be on the tier list, then look at this as a way to, see how credible I am when it comes to certain things. If you think it's trash, then, well, then you probably don't like my opinions. And if you think I did a damn good job, then hit the subscribe button, and so you can watch more stuff, because I got more gems for you in the future, right? Well, and actually, if you don't like it, subscribe too, so you can know when to harass me in the future in the comment section, all right? But yeah, I figured that would be a good way to do this. So I'm not gonna go through the whole tier list and explain each thing. I'm just gonna put up the tier list of what I think units should be. I'm gonna explain what units are affected by this change. So let's take a look and let's see. So let's start with this tier list here. All right, so I think that's it. That's what my tier list is looking like prior to 3.0, right? So this is 2.8 tier list right here of what I think certain units belong. Obviously, there's a couple units in here that are in 3.0, like Tighnari and Collei, and I just have them where they are in 3.0, just to avoid confusion there. So, but for the most part, this is it right here. Now so I know what some of y'all are thinking here, Some of you guys are sitting here thinking like, oh no, what is this? Listen, all right? Just stick with me. Like I said at the beginning,
I'm right.
This is still my subjective opinion. This isn't law, but this does give it a general idea of where certain units belong, right? You might think, Beidou belongs at the top of A tier, or you might think Kokomi belongs in S tier in 2.8, so on and so forth. Yeah, whatever. Now, just have an idea, just to give you a painted picture of where I value the units as of right now, or as of before 3.0, right? So now let's get into who is really benefited the most when it comes to this update, when it comes to Dendro, right? So let's start from the top and move on down, all right? So here we go. So S tier pretty much stays the same, right? These guys have always been the best, and they still are the best, right? Doesn't really change. They keep the same place that they've always had, right? Now when it comes to the S, Ayaka's still at the top here. Ganyu's still up there too. Hu Tao's still up there, yada yada, so on and so forth. These people, they stay the same also, all right? But now when it comes to A tier, now we're starting to see some differences, right? Now, Child and Ayato, they have a lot of Dendro reactions, but they're at the top of A tier. I don't think they got moved up to S tier. They did get more value, but I would say that they still stay within the same place, right? So that's the thing when it comes to that. I might even move Ayato above Child right now, because his HP scaling is going to probably come in handy later, but that hasn't happened yet with the HP scaling. It hasn't happened too much yet. I mean, yeah, now we have the Hydro Res that's going to help him out, but I do think in the near future, Ayato is going to move up above Child, but not just yet. But we'll see. These guys stay the same. Now, here's the first big difference here. Kokomi, right? Now Kokomi, I'll tell you right now, when she first came out, I had her, in my mind I had her about maybe down here, maybe down here. I thought she was trash, right? Like, you know, and I was one of the people that did doubt her, you know? Like, I did understand the fact that we usually do take some time to fully understand the unit's true value, but I just couldn't see it. I didn't see it until Shenhe came out, and I realized how much that Hydra application is really going to help, right? Now that Dendro is out, that Hydra application, that role consolidation she has where she can be a healer and a Hydra applicator off field in a rather large AoE, that is going to just help out so many Dendro reactions. It's going to help out, you know, your blooms, you know, so you can get off your Burgeons and your hyper blooms and stuff. She's going to be a good facilitator when it comes to that. So because of that, I'm actually moving her up to S tier, right? Would I put her above Sucrose? Actually, because Sucrose raises a lot of EM, so I'm going to put her below Sucrose because Sucrose's EM transfer is actually going to be pretty helpful when it comes to Dendro reactions. So, but I'm putting her up to S tier now. So she went from mid A tier to S tier. So Kokomi has seen a pretty big jump. So that's a great thing. Next jump, Fischl. Fischl, as many of you know, has been making some noise, right? She's done pretty good. People have compared her to Xingqiu when it comes to how much damage she can do because she applies so much Electro. And every time you apply Electro, you do an aggravate. Or she can start knocking some hyper blooms and so on and so forth. And she can carry elegy. So that's the thing. And she does a lot of off-field Electro application, stuff like that, a lot of off-field damage. So she has skyrocketed also. She might be one of the best, not the best, but one of the best increases when it comes to this patch. So I'm actually putting her up here. I'm putting her right under Shangling, right? Yeah, Dendro is helped her out quite a bit, right? So I think if you're going to be using Dendro teams, definitely look into using units like Kokomi and Fischl. Get them built up, get them going, right? Now, honestly, here's one of the main reasons why I even made this video, right? This is my true I told you so moment. So I think that Dendro and Electro are going to have a wonderful, wonderful relationship, right? Because I told y'all, I said it over and over again, right? I have a whole video talking about it, how Yae Miko, however you pronounce her name, is going to have so much value in some time. I said it way back from when she was first releasing, and people were like, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. Why would an Electro character need EM scaling? They're worried about her EM scaling. I'm like, guys, this is obvious as day. I got a detective brain, guys. I'm Detective Conan, you can call me that. And honestly, I knew it. I knew what was coming. I called it, I said it. And best believe, Yae Miko is much better than what she was before. I thought she was good before. She fit on a lot of teams with me. I loved her. But I'm telling you right now with Dendro, she is, well, she's not a must pull, but she is a phenomenal choice for your team, right? I'm moving her all the way up to the top of A, right? I'm not going to put her in S tier. I think with that, she needs constellations. Keep in mind, for 5 stars, I'm talking about C0, and for 4 stars, I'm talking about C6. I think her at C0 is A tier. I do think, I have her at C3 personally. So for me, she's an S tier unit, but I'm trying to be universal here, okay? So yeah, she's definitely top of A tier. She's a solid unit to have. Very good, one of the best sub DPSs you can have in the game. She's definitely a very valuable unit. People were talking about, oh, her ICDs, she's only gonna aggravate 1 out of every 3 strikes. That doesn't matter. It only matters if you're facing a single target enemy. Even then, she shocks so much that every 3 doesn't really matter that much. You know, looking at, she does it every other second. Like, chill out, right? And also, if you're fighting mobs, she has random targeting. So since she has random targeting, if there's 3 enemies and she shocks all 3, she's applying electro to all 3. So she's aggravating on all 3, right? So that's the thing, right? That's the thing that people need to understand, need to realize. She's constantly, so when Dendro DPSs come out, so like for Tighnari, she's really good for. Hopefully Al-Haytham is going to be a Dendro DPS. We already know he's a Dendro sword user, so that's going to be good. She's going to be great for big damage and Dendro related reactions, so she's going to be great. She is great right now. She has her own set now, you know, so she's doing pretty good. Yoimiya doesn't change anything, even though I do want to point out that Yoimiya actually can work in Virgin teams. People have been saying that she can for some reason. I don't know why, but I've tested it many times. And if you have some good hydro application going on the field, she does consistently trigger Virgin, right? I mean, granted, you need to have ways to have some good EM on her and make sure she's using Crimson Witch, so those Virgins actually do amount to something. But me, somebody who has her with 63 Elemental Mastery, with the different ways I'm able to boost Elemental Mastery, I've gotten her to be able to do 15 to 17k Virgins, so that gives her some AoE. But her value does stay the same. I don't think that moves her up above Zhao and the rest of them. But she does work in those teams. I just think that her vape is still the best. But if you need some AoE damage, then you have that option. It gives her some more flexibility. Diona stays the same, but if you have her C6, keep in mind that she does transfer 200 EM to you if you're standing within the field. Matter of fact, actually, I'll put Diona above Beidou. Now, I'd say she moves up one spot. Beidou's good, but it's just that with Beidou, she can't really trigger Hyper Bloom with her burst. I mean, she can do her skill, but that's just one time every few seconds. When it comes to Aggravate, I need some more testing to see how she works with the Aggravate. But for the most part, she stays the same. But Diona moves up because of that EM transfer that she does use. You can use her in fridge teams and such. These guys stay the same. The niche supports stay the same. Actually, Sara, I have her at the top, even though I kind of put these three equal to each other. But now Sara is actually at the top because she is good at triggering Quicken and then buffing attack for a Dendro DPS or Electro. So I think her niche is going to come in handy more often than these guys here. Before, if anybody was at the top, I'd say Yunjin was, but now I'd say Sara's at the top because of the very slight electro application she has, which is just enough to trigger some Aggravate. Tighnari is here. Based on what I've seen, I don't have him, so when it comes to him, you don't necessarily have to take my word for how his value, because I can't test it myself. All I can do is observe how other people have been playing with him and how he's been for other people. And based on what I've seen, I put him above Diluc. I do think he is more powerful than Diluc by a good amount. He's just okay. His teams are kind of restricted. He kind of needs to be on an Aggravate spread team, a Quicken team, and he's very strictly single target, so he's not very flexible in that sense. But his damage is okay, and also too, I personally just don't like him. So, you know, if you think he's too low, then just blame that then, I guess. Now we're at the C tier. Collei, I have her at the top of C tier. She's not bad, right? She's not really bad per se. I mean, people might think C tier means bad because you got Chi-Chi there and such. C tier isn't bad. They're usable. You can use them in certain situations. You can make them work. You can, you know, they're fine. They're not unusable people. But when it comes to her, she's one of our very few Dendro applicators. But the simple fact that somebody else on this list is kind of obvious, guys, but somebody else on this list actually does just a better job than them, so that immediately devalues them because they're already outdone, you know. So that's the thing with that. So she's good when it comes to if you want two Dendro teams, like she's good to put on the other team, you know. She doesn't apply a lot of Dendro, but a lot of Dendro actions you don't need that much Dendro to be applied. But at the end of the day, you know, she is a bit underwhelming with what she brings to the table versus our other options. So, top of C tier for her. Keqing moves up. Keqing moves on up, right? Because now she has Aggravate teams and Hyper Bloom teams, right? So now she has reactions to help out her damage. So that is beautiful. I love it. I love to see it. Oh man, it's great.
As the over 30s like to say on TikTok, you love to see it.
So she saw an improvement. She's doing much better damage now. So I'm going to put her right here. Still put her below Diluc. because Luke still has his vaporizers. He can do his big hits and stuff like that too. He's always been able to do that. For me personally, my Keqing has always been stronger than my Diluc. That's just how it is, but that's just basically builds and attention that I've given, because Keqing was originally my favorite character before Utah came out. But this is where she belongs here, right? So she is now B tier now. She does pretty good damage. I mean, people kind of been overstating like, oh, she's meta now, she's great, blah, blah, this and that. She is good, but let's not get too excited.
Whoa, calm down, Jamal. Don't pull out the 9.
She's right here. She's looking good right here, right? You know, get some good quicken teams for her to get things moving. So now we're down to D tier. Now D tier has a couple changes that I need, that I see here, right? So now we have the Travelers, right? The twins. This is going to be the biggest jump, the best improvement that any character has in this patch. Because these guys are D tier, right? Like, their animal counterpart is pretty trash. Their geo counterpart is like, can deal okay damage, but like, if you have any other units, why would you use them, right? You know, Electro just became completely useless once Raiden came out, right? So with Dendro, yeah, they might get power cut when Dendro comes out, but with Dendro, yeah, they move up quite a bit. So much so, I'm gonna put them all the way up here towards the top of A tier. They are great. Matter of fact, I kind of want to put them in S tier, but I'm not going to do that because I know in the future that they're going to get shafted very soon, and you don't necessarily have to do Dendro teams. But if you do decide to do Dendro teams, they are some of the best people to use in such teams, right? They are the go-to Dendro applicator off field. Like, that's, if you want to use Dendro, you use them, right? That's the fact of the matter, right? They, like, I'm actually very impressed because even before Raiden came out and we had Electro Traveler, like, Electro Traveler still wasn't that great. Like, you might as well just put energy recharge on your characters and call it a day. Because he didn't do a lot of damage, so, like, his energy regeneration, like, it was just, with Dendro Traveler, definitely shot up quite a bit. So if you have Traveler, definitely build them up. Building their talents is a bit of a task, but build it up as much as you can. It's not about how much damage they do, it's more so about how much Dendro they're applying on the field. They have really good uptime. You're gonna get guaranteed constellations. If you've been doing the quests, you know, you have at least C2. I have C2 and I've been super busy. So, you know, you should be able to get that too. And that increases the duration. So they have pretty good uptime when it comes to the burst. So there we go, all right? Dendro Traveler, they're the winners of this patch. Definitely, the #1 winners. And we got Kuki Shinobu. She's another big winner. She was D tier. I always knew she was gonna rise up. But I'd say she's probably one of the best Hyper Bloom triggers that you can have. So with that being said, I'm going to move her to, I'm gonna move her to B tier. But she is useful now. She is good. Her stock is only going to rise when we have more Dendro units to use. If you're trying to do, like, her being an Electro and they be able to do better Hyper Blooms, if Hyper Bloom becomes more meta with different units we have, she's probably going to be the dedicated healer for that. As of right now, she is a good pick when you want to do Hyper Bloom teams. So that's the thing with that. It's just that Hyper Bloom hasn't proven to me to be all that strong yet. I'm sure units will come kind of cater to these reactions. So that's the thing with that. But as of right now, 3.0, she definitely did rise. She went up 2 tiers, which is actually a pretty big jump. So that's that, right? Then we got Thoma. Thoma also has increased some because now he can do version teams, right? But the thing is with Kuki, I feel was a better increase because with Kuki, she actually scales off of EM when it comes to her healing. So if you stack EM on her, she still does her job well, right? But with Thoma, he doesn't benefit off of EM. It's just going to help him trigger better versions, but his shield strength is going to go down, right? Now, you know, it's not that big of a deal. You can just make sure you have a healer on the team. You know, have Bennett or so on and so forth, or Kokomi. But at the end of the day, he still triggers Burgeon. If you build EM on him, it does do some good AoE damage. I do like Burgeon, but you sacrifice some of his utility, so he doesn't make as big of a jump. I'm going to put him in C tier. I'm going to put him above Collei. All right, so we got that right there. Then we got Lisa. Lisa, I'd say, is the last person that I'm going to do when it comes to who was changed by Dendro. Lisa, she can do aggravate. She does defense shred. I mean, her skill, the rest of her kit does suck. You know, it is pretty bad. So she's not going to move that much. But I am going to put her right below Thoma. Right? So she's doing pretty good when it comes to that. She's going to be helping out with if you're using a Dendro unit, like if you're using Tighnari, that she's going to be a pretty good support when it comes to that, because of that defense shred that she has. So that's that, right? I kind of want to, now I think about it, I think I'm going to move her above Thoma because of that, because of that defense shred. As long as you can get it so she can get her burst back up without having to use her skill. Actually, you know what? Because you're trying to avoid using your skill, I'm going to put her below Thoma. But yeah, but you kind of want to avoid using her skill because the skill sucks. But her burst is pretty good. It has an okay amount of AoE. But when you're using Tighnari and he uses his E skill and use her burst inside his E skill, then, you know, that AoE kind of matches up. So you're fine there. But yeah, those are the changes right there when it comes to what Dendro has done, right? Biggest winner, of course, Dendro Traveler. We got some other big winners like Kuki Shinobu and Yae Miko and Kokomi. I hope you guys enjoy that there. When it comes to the units I didn't choose, obviously we don't have Dory yet, we don't have Nilo, we don't have Sino, we don't have Candace yet. But based on what I've heard from them, just for fun, I'll play some right here just to see what you guys think. I'll put Dory right here. I'll put Nilo right here. I'll put Sino right here. I'm gonna put Candace here. So that's my guesses on where they're going to be when they come out. That could change drastically because they're still in beta. There are going to be many changes to them, but based on some of the dreams that I've had, I'm guessing that's what their value is going to be. This is more so curiosity to see how different it's going to be when they do come out. Because, I've been calling a lot of things, so I'm on a roll. So I want to see how far I can take this here. But for the most part, that they're not out yet, so I'm not going to leave them in here in the final thing. That is the tier list right here. This is what I think is going to happen when it comes to the value of these units, or what has happened with the value of these units in 3.0. Let me know what you guys think. Comment your thoughts down below. If you hate this, if you hate my tier list, go ahead, let me know. I don't care. It's fine. If you like the tier list, or if it does help you see the value of some of these Dendro units, or the actual element of Dendro itself, then, let me know. Like the video if you like the content, let me know what your thoughts are. And also subscribe to the channel so you get more content like this, I'm probably not going to do tier lists too often, but I do have a lot of some good reaction content, some good discussion-based content, and some advice that I have for you guys too when it comes to characters and such, and my views of their value and so on and so forth, right? So that was my thoughts right there. So with that, I hope you enjoyed. Legend out.